Rogue Incursion is a single-player, narrative-driven action horror game with survival elements. It's in first person, so we kind of call it a shooter light. It's not twitchy like a Call of Duty or anything like that. It's more story-driven and deliberate. And you're playing a rogue colonial marine, Zula Hendricks, and she has come to this planet, Perdan LV-354, to look for a friend, her former squad mate. And what she discovers there is that the entire facility he's been working in is completely overrun with xenomorphs. Zula Hendricks just happens to be the foremost xenomorph hunter in the alien universe at this point in time, so she's more than ready to take on that challenge. And what you get is like several hours of you locked in a haunted house with great white sharks.
Nice. Now, where exactly in the Alien timeline and canon does this take place?
So the game takes place between the first and second films. So it's right in that time when Ellen Ripley's drifting through the middle cluster. It takes place about 6 or 7 years after Alien Isolation.
Right on. We often see non-VR games get turned into VR games, but it's kind of a rarity to see the other way around. Can you talk a little bit about sort of what accommodations are made in that process? Like, how does the game differ? How have you adapted it, I guess?
I'm going to let Eugene talk about some of the technical aspects of it, but like one of my focuses is story and the narrative. And I actually think that we gained a few things going to PC console, and that is we have a greater freedom of telling story in the game. In VR, you are the camera. Since you're wearing a headset, wherever you look is where the camera is going. So that means you're limited in the ways that you can tell a story. You can't do a quick cutaway to see what's going on elsewhere in the facility. You can't take control of the camera because it'll make the player nauseous. So going to PC console means we can move the camera around and we can show different things that you haven't seen or maybe you couldn't see in the VR version.
Yeah, being able to tell the narrative exactly how we envisioned is definitely a big part of it. Not only can we not move the camera, but now we can animate Zula. We can emote and do certain emotions, which in VR is very hard to tell the story that way. And the second, I would say, with the Xenomorph, we had a lot more freedom of how we approach combat. In VR, most of the time, to make it generalized for the entire public, we didn't want to add too much quick movement because that becomes potentially nauseating to the player. Here, that restriction is gone, so now the skill check becomes a little different. It's how fast you react, how fast you move. You can move around the environment, you can dash out of danger. So it creates a very unique experience that's significantly different from VR, and yet remaining with the same feel, the way we envision the Xenomorph combat to be, which is great. The other, I would say, is the graphical quality that we can reach. In VR, you're rendering the thing twice, right? One for every eye. Of course, there are some compromises have to be made, what we can do in real time at frame rate. Here, we have things like physicalized miasma, which is key aspect of the Alien franchise, right? You're walking in, they're hiding in plain sight, and as they're moving through the environment, the fog will actually separate the miasma. Same thing with the player, and it creates a really tense combat environment.
Nice. Now, I know that with a lot of VR games, it's sort of, it needs to be more bite-sized. Like, it can be overwhelming. And at the same time, little things that might...
So that was really, really interesting what he mentioned. Actually, I just caught that about the performance, because they're rendering the graphics to accommodate 2 eyes. They can't go to as high resolutions, I believe is what he was referring to. Let's see it again.
One for every eye. Of course, there are some compromises have to be made, what we can do in real time at frame rate. Here, we have things like physicalized miasma, which is key aspect of the Alien franchise, right? You're walking in, they're hiding in plain sight, and as they're moving through the environment, the fog will actually separate the miasma. Same thing with the player, and it creates a really tense combat environment.
Nice. Now, I know that with a lot of VR games, it's sort of...
Of course, there are some compromises have to be made, what we can do, which is great.
Yes, right here.
I would say is graphical. Quality that we can reach. In VR, you're rendering the thing twice, right? One for every eye. Of course, there are some compromises have to be made. What we can do.
Yeah, and I'm really intrigued about this because this game is coming out like this week, I think. And the only other game I'm excited for is Ghost of Yotei, and that comes out next month. So I want to get the most out of this game until Ghost of Yotei drops. And yeah, I'm hoping it's gonna be really good because I've been hooked with the series Alien Earth, and this is the perfect ideal thing I could sink my teeth into in terms of Alien games. Because I did mention before that I would have bought Alien Fireteam, but I don't know. It is very action based, and it doesn't have as much sense of immersion as Alien Isolation, which I already have, and I've completed that completely, like all DLCs and everything. This game, Alien Rogue Incursion,
In real time.
is a
Here,
perfect mix
we
of
have
the
things like
both
physical
in one.
miasma, which is
That's
key
hoping,
the Alien
or
franchise,
hopefully what
right?
I'm
You're
gonna
walking
gain
in,
from
they're
this.
hiding in plain sight, and as they're moving through environment, the fog will actually establish.
People engage with VR differently versus more conventional gaming.
Well, for VR, more than any other medium, it's about immersion, it's about interactivity. So things like what I can touch and pick up and what I'm doing with my hands is a very important factor in terms of selling the experience and creating that sense of presence. So that's something when we're making the VR version that we're paying very close attention to. If you go into the world, I think one of the early prototypes we did was we had a hat on a box. And so it's like, hey, can I put that hat on? And someone grabbed it and they put it on. We're like, okay, people will want to do that sort of thing in VR because that's just the nature of the medium. Now, bring it to PC and console, mundane things can actually break immersion because it's just picking up a cup. It's like, well, it's just a cup. Why am I not picking up the health stim that I wanted? That sort of thing. So we need to find a balance between physicalizing the world, letting you bump into things so it feels real, but not bogging you down in picking up things that don't really matter to the moment-to-moment gameplay.
And that's a really, really good point. And I guess that's also a part of the differences between the Evolved edition versus the VR edition. In the VR edition, picking up mundane items is more of a big deal in terms of adding immersion, but with the console controller flat screen version, it does the opposite. It takes away from the immersion because it's like it's more useless to you. So picking up key items is all we really would care about in scenes like this where we're trying to escape aliens or we're trying to kill aliens, either or.
Now, the cliffhanger ending of Rogue Incursion caught some people off guard. It's part one of a larger story. Can you say anything about what people can expect from part two?
Not really, but what I will say is we had planned from the very beginning that this was going to be a multi-part story, a multi-act story for Zula. And if this first part was really about authenticity, what we wanted to do was show people that we understood the IP. We understood aliens. We can make xenomorphs scary. We can create the atmosphere of the world and drop you into the sense of the movie. Now extrapolate that to what a sequel would be once we've established that as a strong base, and let your mind wander from there.
Right on. Alien Isolation, I got to bring it up. That's obviously like a huge kind of tentpole piece of Alien.
And that is a great point, which I didn't catch the first time, because the game is Alien Rogue Incursion Part 1. So, of course, that means there's going to be a Part 2, but I just naturally assumed that would be in the form of DLC. But he's saying it's going to be a multi-game series as part of this. So that is really good. I just said series, and my phone picked it up as Siri. Yeah. So that is really, really good, because that gives more investment into the franchise. Like playing this game and then you're waiting for part 2, then you're waiting for part 3, potentially part 4, however many they're planning to make. That is a really good key part.
Yeah, these days, especially in gaming. You
I
talk a
didn't
little bit
clock
about sort of
before.
how that influenced Rogue Incursion.
I could say from a sort of a narrative, visual aesthetic sort of way, it was greatly influential on Rogue Incursion. You know, often Isolation is referred to as the love letter to Alien, the first film, and we set out to make a love letter to Aliens, the second film, primarily the third act where Ripley goes down into the hive and starts, giving it to the xenomorphs. So the Isolation is the benchmark. It's a wonderful game, and I think anyone that makes an Alien game, irrespective of play style or platform, is going to be thinking about that game somewhere in their conversations and in their discussions. One of the things that we did from a gameplay standpoint is that Zula is very different from Amanda Ripley in that Amanda is an engineer. She has to hide from the xenomorphs. She's very much in a survival state. Zula is a trained soldier. She's a hunter in a way, and she's actively going towards them, whereas other people are running away from them. So it's almost the mirror, the photo negative of Isolation is what we were trying to achieve.
Yeah, I would say from what we were inspired from Isolation is definitely the immersion level and the authenticity to the AP. We wanted to feel the tension as you're traversing the environment, but the combat is, I think it's brand new. I think it's something you haven't really seen, that type of combat in an Alien game.
Yeah.
Nice. I mean, that makes sense.
I like that. I do like that, because those two approaches really differentiate the two games. So Alien Isolation was stealth survival, right? Then you got Fireteam, which is military action. Then you got this, which by the sounds of it, they tried to make it a FPS game, but because you're playing the role of you're playing Amanda, who is a military person, a soldier, as opposed to Ripley, who's an engineer, going up against the alien, the creatures, makes more sense for the confrontations to occur and stuff. So this is from a first person perspective from a soldier. What her task is, probably to collect something, I don't know, but we'll find out when the game comes out. But I like the fact that they've added that spin, that differentiation between Ripley and Alien Isolation to this game.
It's because, like, Ridley Scott and James Cameron, they kind of refer to it as like, one's the haunted house, Aliens is the roller coaster. And I don't know, roller coasters are fun. They sometimes make people throw up, sort of like VR, all due respect. So after all this development, worth asking, like, obviously making games in VR and making games for a screen, totally different experience, so is playing them. Which do you personally prefer?
Oh, goodness. I prefer the storytelling capability of PC console. I love being able to flesh it out and sort of do the cinematic storytelling that was always in my head when we started this project. But the immersion, the fear, the dread, the anxiety, you could tell that Alien was meant to be on VR. So it's amazing, and our job as a team is to bring that fear, tension, anxiety, that energy to the PC console version. So I like them both. They're both my favorites.
Yeah, I would say it's great having a both versions of the game. I love VR, but it depends how I feel the day. Sometimes I'm tired from work and I don't want to physically have to aim down or run around and shoot, and other times I do. And in those cases, I like to sit down and really relax and enjoy the game. Well, maybe the fear and anxiety is not helping the relaxation, but at least I'm not doing the physical activity. So it depends on the mood, and both products offer something unique, and yet have a common, common denominator there where you're getting a very similar experience, and depending how you want to play it.
But to your earlier point, VR is sometimes a barrier to people. And we want as many people to play this as possible. So when we started developing the game initially, it was always with the intention of going to PC console so we could get as many people to experience this as we could. So we're super excited about that, and we just really can't wait for everyone else to get to play it now,
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. You can experience part 1 of Alien Rogue Incursion.
Okay, that's awesome. That is awesome. Gain a little bit of information that I wasn't that privy to first time around. So that is really, really good. Let's go for a quick intermission. Let's see if there's anything else to gain and to look at from this. I mean, there is the trailer, but we have seen the trailer, although we could see it again. I actually don't mind watching the trailer again. Yeah, let's go to the trailer. Let me just double check on one thing. All right, let's just watch the trailer again. All right, now we're back. Oops. All right, now we're back. Now we're back. Let's check this out.
Xenomorphs. Deadly. Relentless. Unstoppable. If they reach Earth, humanity ends. As long as one Colonial Marine fights back, we still have a chance to survive.
Yeah, and there it is. There it is. I'm really I'm looking forward to this. I'm looking forward to this game. And let me just see if I got it saved. I'm pretty sure I do. Yes, I do. Yeah, I'm hyped for this game. For this game. And if these are different, I wonder if these are different traders, or are these all the same trader but just different platforms. Maybe we'll see something different.
We believed in our mission.
Okay, this is a different trailer.
We were going to be gods.
I can see
But we
that. I can
tampered with
see
something.
what they're referring to with
We
the
should have left
graphics
alone.
resolution. It does look crisp.
Everyone else is dead. We're all that's left.
It was really bad that they changed it to
Whoever finds this, destroy them.
a FPS game probably.
Every last one of them.
Nice. Okay, so it's coming out in a week's time then. Okay, cool. Pick up one of these traders then. some investigation, some stealth, and especially some action. Yeah, this looks good. Some exploration involved as well. Yeah, this is dope. This is dope, and it's just the perfect timing. That's the most important thing of it all in marketing and PR wise. It's the perfect timing, because if Alien Earth wasn't out right now and as successful as it is, this wouldn't be so prominent of a game in the franchise that people would jump at and try to get. Part of the reason why I want to get this is because of I'm a big fan of the Predator and Alien franchise anyway, but because of Alien Earth has brought me back hard, and like I said before, I considered getting Alien Fireteam just to take care of that itch from watching Alien Earth. So for them to announce this, it's just like the perfect timing. So yeah, I am definitely looking forward to this. I'm just trying to think of the different ways I'm gonna go about playing it. I think the first playthrough will be on normal mode, just to play through the game, and then I will do another playthrough on the hardest difficulty if I've completed the game before the 2nd of October, which is when Ghost of Yote comes out. I may do that, or depending on the kinds of unlocks you get from completing the game, let's go to rewards. Rewards for Alien Rogue Incursion are primarily cosmetic or offer a digital art book. Okay, that's interesting. Digital art book included with the digital deluxe upgrade, which provides blue camo weapon and armor skins, and Art of Alien Rogue Incursion digital art book. Alright, but there are no other in-game gameplay rewards mentioned in the search results for this title. In-game progression involves finding and using weapons like the pulse rifle and shotguns, tools like the hand wielder, and scarce resources such as ammunition. Yeah, we'll get on to the different additions in a second. Actually, in-game progression, players can find and use a pulse rifle, tools, resources, okay, cool. Right, how many hours is it? 8 to 10 hours. Okay, that's cool. Let me make it more specific. End game rewards. There's no information on specific end game rewards for Alien Rogue Incursion, as the game was released as the first part of a 2-part story, and the primary focus is the original story, not a post-story content loop. As some players find the game disappointingly short, the game offers an original story with innovative gameplay, not a focus on repeatable activities with rewards in the traditional sense. Okay, but I'm just curious, is there any replay value here then? And they're saying it's the first of 2 parts, so there's gonna be just another part. Focus on gameplay, player feedback. Let's go to replayability then. What the hell is that? trying to see. I'm trying to see, like, does this game, like, when you complete any game, you should be rewarded for that. Whether it's like a new game mode or a new weapon or a new skin, whatever it is, you should be rewarded for that. So I'm just really curious, what do you get or gain anything for completing the game? You tell us how to you also feel like there's a solid foundation here, but I can't shake the feeling being a bit backtracking and it's something also wish there were. Okay, I also wish there was a bit more of a replayability factor. Something like a model viewer or a survival mode would have helped, even with its. This is a solid game. Alright, so there's not really much replay value here, which kind of explains the price of the game. Because the price of the game is, I think it's $30. Let's see what IGN says, because I'm just curious about the end game. Let's see what it says here. Any rogue incursion is faithful and entertaining style about bringing but while there's plenty of room, as a strong proof of concept. That's left me eating it. Okay, that didn't really say much about the. I didn't say much at all about the end game. Let's just do end game and see what it says. Nope, I'm not gonna read that. Alright, so it's not really saying anything. On the Google search, nothing about the end game. But yes, yeah. So it's only £20, $20, and out of the two, hold on. When you get the standard edition, you get Alien Romulus inspired weapon skin and Alien Romulus inspired armor skin. Okay, that's interesting. With the deluxe version, you get. To be fair, the deluxe version is actually only $8 more. Or is that 9? It's about 9. No. Yeah, about $9 more, and you get the blue camo weapon skin. That's not. I mean, that's just a weapon skin. Like, there's nothing that special. Blue camo armor skin, again, nothing that special. The Alien Rogue Incursion digital art book, now we're talking. That will be interesting to look at. The Alien Romulus inspired weapon skin, you get it with the standard edition, and Alien Romulus inspired armor skin, you get that with the standard edition. So, really and truly, you're paying $9 for the digital art book. I don't think that's worth it. You could probably get that separate anyway. Is it like this little deluxe thing for, well, I don't know how much they'll, since they're charging $9, they're probably gonna charge 10 to get it as DLC, and that's if they put it out as DLC. But it's not enough for me to get the deluxe. However, the this standard edition, yes, I would definitely. I would get it. But I do still need to pre-order Ghost of Yotei Speaking of Ghost of Yotai, let's check up on it just to see if there's any new. I think this is new, isn't it?
A wandering
No, that's not new. But yeah, this is the deluxe edition. We go to the main page. So that's the deluxe, that's the standard. When you pre-order, I mentioned this before already, but I would, if I'm getting the deluxe edition, I'm getting it for the digital deluxe armored die, the horse, and that's it really, or the sword kit. If not, I don't really care about the traveler's map because you get that already. The charm, don't care about that because you'll get charms in the game already, so they're non and void. The sword kit looks okay, but the horse and saddle along with that armor die, I do really like that. However, they will make these available as DLC, just like what they did with Ghost of Tsushima. Don't really like the snake armor, so yeah, as it stands now, I'm still gonna get the standard edition unless my mind changes again. But you know, we shall see. Anyway, just a quick night stream to do a deep dive on Alien Rogue Romulus, and I will catch you in the next stream. Should be tomorrow. Not sure what I'm going to be streaming tomorrow though, but I'll catch you in the next stream tomorrow. Like the stream if you haven't.